Hi folks, it's Switchback, taking you on a little hike in the redwoods where it likes to rain a lot. And so let's talk a little bit about hiking in the rain. First thing to know, you're gonna get wet. It's just inevitable. The gear is not necessarily to keep you dry, it's to keep you warm. I've track started, good. But once you accept that, that's half the battle right there. Some of my favorite hikes are in the rain, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Way fewer people are out. A lot of people, the rain scares them off, and that means I have the trails a lot more to myself. Everything gets washed clean, and now the colors are super vibrant. You see all kinds of little things that come out in the rain, like these little fungi. It can be a fun challenge because, of course, the terrain is a little bit more challenging when it's rainy. I like looking for ticks, especially in places that are really grassy. The creeks get going and start filling up. The waterfalls are really flowing. The sunrises, the sunsets, even just the views of the mountains can be really cool. We're watching precipitation over there. Who doesn't love feeling like a kid splashing around in the mud? There's always that and the puddles. And you get to see a lot of things you don't necessarily see when it's dry. So where I am, that includes lots of fungi, newts, and banana slugs, and wet spider webs, and things like that. So somehow part of this did not record while I was on my hike. So we're in Switchback Studios here, if you will. But moving on, before your trip, be aware of mudslide and flood risks. And of course, these can happen anywhere, but the desert is especially prone to flash floods, and any recent burn areas are at higher risk for mudslides. Roads and trails can get slid out from these or washed out, so be mindful and be prepared to turn around. If you're in the desert, you can be impacted from rain that is miles away. So be aware of any weather patterns and floodplains, and especially any flash flood warnings that are happening within several miles of wherever you're headed. Let's talk a little bit about clothing. If you can, experiment a bit with what you'd like to wear in the rain before you go on a big hike, a big backpacking trip, etc. For example, you can see if you like a rain skirt, an umbrella, a poncho, and if you like it over your backpack or under your backpack, a jacket, rain pants, gaiters, etc. If you have existing rain gear, make sure that you check it over for any holes or seams that need to be fixed. If it needs to go through the dryer to get the Gore-Tex going again. And be aware that waterproof and breathable is kind of an oxymoron, and so there's always a little bit of a trade-off with both. There's only so much that any material can be both. So aside from the material, try to keep things as breathable as you're able. So that's where ponchos, rain skirts, pit zips, things like that might be ideal over a rain jacket with pants. And if it's warm, staying dry is almost impossible, even more so than when it's cold, because you're going to be sweating that much more and things don't evaporate off the same way. So preventing chafing is even more crucial than it might be otherwise. It's up to you if you want to do waterproof footwear or not. And you have to really look at the conditions. And, if waterproof footwear gets wet on the inside, it is staying wet. It is going to be very challenging to dry it, especially if you're still out in wet conditions. Versus, say, a breathable trail runner, which when it's going to get wet, but it's also going to air dry a lot faster. It'll dry on your foot faster. It'll breathe better versus, say, a boot. But if you are in cold and gnarly conditions, then you may want that boot. So you really have to look at the whole picture when you make that decision. If you're camping or backpacking, have some other dry footwear, some camp shoes that you can wear to let your other footwear dry out. And consider packing more socks than you otherwise might so that you have a dry option anytime that your feet do get wet. Next, let's talk a little bit about gear before your trip. Make sure that everything is in good working order, that it is still waterproof, any seam sealing that needs to be done has been handled, and you can always check the waterproofing with a hose at home, assuming that you have the space for that. If you're backpacking, then consider using a pack liner of some kind. Put anything in there that you do not want to get wet. So this is going to include things like your sleep system, which is your sleeping pad and your sleeping bag or your quilt, any sleep clothes, electronics, and things like that. You might also want to carry a separate dry bag just for your jackets so that you can keep that handy in case you need to grab it on the go. It might sound redundantly redundant, but I also like to carry a pack cover, and that's even on day hikes. And so even though the inside might be protected, I still like to have the outside protected as well. It keeps the pack from getting wet by itself, and then that way it keeps the weight down ultimately. It also keeps anything that might be strapped to the outside or on those outside pockets from getting wet. It's not 100% perfect, but sure does make a difference. The other option is to consider a backpack that's made out of waterproof materials. So be aware that the material itself may be waterproof, but the seams are not. And even if they're taped, you're still going to want something inside as a pack liner just to guarantee protection of your gear. And of course, that doesn't offer any protection. If you do strap things to the outside, those items are exposed to the elements. If you have options, synthetic gear will perform better in wet conditions than down, just because it will stay lofty, down can clump, and a lot of it nowadays has been treated. But I would still, if I had the choice, go with synthetic gear over down anytime that I'm going out in wet conditions. Or you can even, for example, with a jacket, you could use fleece versus a down puffy, which is what I usually do because I don't have a synthetic puffy. But a synthetic quilt or sleeping bag will keep you warmer than a down one if it gets wet. It will stay lofted, maintain that insulation level. When you're planning out your meals, and your snacks, consider the temperatures and the weather. If it's going to be cold and rainy, soups and stews and casseroles and things like that might sound amazing. Where when it's hot, you may want something like a granola bar or something else that you don't have to heat up. Of course, anytime that you're going to be backpacking or even day hiking, you're going to want to have some kind of protection for rain. Even if it's not planned for, even if there isn't rain in the forecast, even if you're in the desert, it's always a good idea to have rain gear. When you're figuring out which gear to take, you may want to plan on taking a larger tent than you otherwise might because you're probably going to spend more time in your tent. You may also want to take more things to keep you entertained and power banks to keep, your phone or anything else charged that you might be using for entertainment. If you're getting any value, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Next, let's talk about while you're actually on this trip. Be aware that slick conditions can exist as the trails get wet and things just get more treacherous. Woo. Creeks and rivers may be deeper and moving more swiftly than normal and have more and larger debris than normal. If it's been raining a lot, the ground may be saturated, and so even if it's still, there's a higher risk for tree fall. Dry bag. Oh shoot. There's a big tree falling right now. Oh my God. I just saw this huge tree go down. Like huge. I thought I heard it crack. Holy crap. Wow. That was seriously incredible. Oh my gosh. This is why you never underestimate Mother Nature and what she can do. Wow. That like literally just watched that fall. But if it's windy, of course, it's significantly higher. The wind can also blow around sticks and other debris, and it can be a lot harder to hear things around you, including threats and water and animals and other things that you need to be able to hear. Of course, the same can be said for the actual rain and for any other rushing water as well. Watch for flash floods, rock slides, mudslides, and I would try to avoid slot canyons. Again, accept that you're going to get wet. Between the rain and your sweat, it's inevitable. So your goal is to stay warm and keep your gear dry. Really want to prevent hypothermia. So keeping your temperature up and maintaining it is crucial. This can, of course, can be more challenging if it's windy out. As best you're able, anytime that you stop and when you're in camp, try to dry out your feet. Anytime you're in cold and wet conditions, there is a good risk of something called trench foot, which you've probably heard of. But if your feet are starting to get pruny, if they're getting red, if they're getting numb or tingling or painful, or they're swelling up, which, I mean, frankly, they're going to swell up even if it's dry. But if you have that with these other symptoms, it's time to shift focus to drying and slowly rewarming your feet. I'm going to leave an article from the Cleveland Clinic down in the description to go more into this and how to prevent it more. At the risk of killing your pace, anytime it's nice out, try to take out your gear and let it dry. Again, yes, it will kill your pace, but you'll be happy to have dry gear. And of course, it will weigh less. Load up on your waterproof maps and compass skills. GPS and satellite communicators may not work as well in super cloudy conditions. Know what to do if there is any risk of lightning. I'm going to include a link up here to my video about that, and I'll link it at the end of the video as well. You can use a Ziploc to keep your phone protected. And also, don't forget to eat and drink. It's very easy to do this, especially when it's not very warm out. But you may want to stop and take shelter, or you may want to carry small items that if they get wet, it won't be a catastrophe. Ask me about the time that I had coffee-covered almonds that were in a Ziploc bag with like a 1/4 inch of rain. That was fun. I do want to touch on leave no trace. If there are puddles, walk through them, unless you are in the desert, in which case you do want to walk around them. Water is a very precious commodity, and so avoid any potholes or puddles or other areas of standing water, because of course those are critical for wildlife and other life out there, and water doesn't come by very often. You'll want to make sure that you're staying on trail in the desert, like on hard rocks or loose sand, and avoid walking on any cryptobiotic soils, which take years and years to regenerate. And in general, you want to avoid trampling any vegetation. Meadows, moss, and other types of vegetation can show signs of trampling for a really long time. Like this moss right here, it does not take much for it to show signs of that trampling. As far as clothing goes, like any hike, start cool so that you're not peeling off layers a mile in. You can use things like Leukotape, anti-chafe, and sock liners to help prevent any chafing. I like to use a waterproof fanny pack, and I'll link the one that I use down below from Hilltop Packs. Of course, avoid cotton. It will hold on to that water, make you chafe, make things heavy, make you cold. You're probably going to get cold when you stop to take breaks, so make sure that you have something a little bit warmer and drier to put on when you do stop. Wear a hat with a brim. It will keep the water out of your eyes when it's raining. Makes a big difference in my opinion. Keep your rain gear handy so that you can just grab it and go when the time comes. As far as camping goes, avoid setting up in any dry creek beds or low places where water is likely to pool. If you're not in a designated campground or campsite, then look for a place that's already been impacted. Wet conditions can of course cause more impact if you were to set up there than in dry conditions. Stay high above the water line if you're in a river canyon or anywhere else where you might be impacted by rising water. Try to keep any wet gear out of your tent just to keep the moisture down. Vestibules can be really helpful for this. I've even used dry bags to kind of like line the ground and set gear on those. Some people put their wet clothes inside their sleeping bag or their quilt to help it dry faster. You can do what works for you, but I would not recommend this if it's cold. If you are car camping, you're going to be keeping a lot of your stuff in your car most likely. Wait to put on your sleep clothes and sleep socks until you're actually in your tent for the night. That never go outside and get wet, of course, unless you have to go pee. And if you want to take a pee bottle, all the more power to you. I have still not mastered that one yet. You will probably get condensation in your tent, whether it's single wall or double walled. So managing this is important. If you're in a single walled tent, you may have to wipe it down periodically. And in either case, if there's no wind, go ahead and keep the vents open and keep the fly as high off the ground as you possibly can, just for that airflow. If it's super windy, that may not be feasible, but in that case, you're getting plenty of airflow. If it's not especially windy, consider leaving the leeward side of your doors open. If you have 2 doors on your tent, so that's the downwind side. So obviously the upwind side where the rain's coming in, you want to keep that one all closed up. You might want to carry an extra tarp that you can sit under when you are taking breaks or when you're in camp cooking and that kind of thing. Otherwise, you're going to be spending pretty much all your time in your tent. I have found that gaiters can be very helpful, especially if they're waterproof ones. I have ones that I bought for the snow that are knee high, and they're really wonderful, especially when it's like super muddy, like it might get out here. They're wonderful. I also like using hand warmers in my pockets when I'm in camp, and I'll link a video about those up here too. And of course, protect your electronics, so no charging cables or power banks out in the rain. As far as setting up your tent, if you can, get a tent that you can set up that's fly first, like the Durston X-Mid. Otherwise, you will want to set up the inner as fast as possible, get the fly on as fast as possible, and then dry up the floor with towels or bandanas before you set all your gear inside. It'll make this whole process faster if you set up your tent poles before you set up anything else. Just have them laid out, ready to roll. Set up a dedicated area for wet shoes, whether it's a mat or a dry bag or inside your vestibule, somewhere that's dedicated to keep them in one spot, ideally that they can dry out. For longer trips, Mountain Goat and I will even keep a bin in our vehicle so that we can throw snowy or muddy boots or whatnot into there, and they keep everything kind of isolated. Avoid trenching around your tent, which means like digging out basically a trench around it to catch the rain, because it leaves, marks and damages the ground. And if somehow you must do this for safety reasons, then make sure that you fill it in before you leave camp. If you're packing up in the rain, try to set up your pack inside of your tent. Pack everything from your sleep system to your clothing, everything else up, and then pack up your tent last. And I even could put it on the outside of my pack when it's raining like this, but that's where that pack cover comes in handy. For after your trip, have a nice dry set of clothing in the car, ideally something warm that will feel good to put on, including socks, underwear, footwear, the whole shebang, and probably a towel to dry yourself off. Consider having a tub or a bin or somewhere else to put all of your wet and muddy gear. And before you store anything, make sure that you dry it out completely and do any repairs before you put it away. Again, if there is any risk of lightning on your trip, make sure that you know what to do. You can see what to do in this video here. And if you haven't heard, I'm doing a giveaway. You can learn more about that here. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and enjoy that rain. Take care. Bye-bye. Boy, I was not planning on recording today. Okay.